The next time I open my eyes, all I see is the ceiling. Uh, this is my room. I blink a few times, and slowly my sense of reality comes back to me. Ouch. The inside of my head keeps pounding. I need some medicine. I sluggishly get up and I see Ren coiled up under the futon, just like how he always would on a normal day. Looking at him, I feel like I've come back to my senses. We finally came back home. I reach out my hand to Ren and start to lightly pet him. He starts up. Oh, good morning, Ren. Good morning. How is your health? I have a headache. I see. You haven't taken any medicine yet, have you? Nope. Let's head downstairs, Ren. I get up from my bed to leave and hold Ren in my arms with me. Ouch. Feels like an awful, violent vibration keeps moving through my body, but I smell the scent of a lot of food coming from the hallway and forget the pain for a little while. Granny must have made something. Granny, I'm so glad she's safe. Since happiness can't exactly fill my stomach, I go downstairs. When I enter the living room, all the boys are here, well, for the most part, and they're all sitting at the dinner table. Meek is sitting on the couch in the other room by himself. On the table is food that Granny has lined up, and my stomach starts to rumble. Finally up, Alba? Master, yo Ren, I came to visit. Hey, how are you doing, Alba? Oh, I'm okay. I'm not feeling too great, but... Of course you wouldn't. Kojaku looks down and lets out a small sigh. The atmosphere around everyone here gives me the feeling that they're all tired. Well, of course they'd be. Something unbelievable happened back there. How's Mizuki? Mizuki and the rest of the dry juice members are all in the hospital. Seems like none of them have woken up just yet. I see. Well, at least Mizuki's alive. Back then, I confronted Mizuki as he was about to load Granny into that car. I don't know if what happened was a dream or reality, but I realize now that both Mizuki and I fell down. Did something happen to us? There's only one thing that I clearly remember, and that is my past. I had forgotten all about it until now, but it suddenly came back to me. Oh, it's backstory time. The fact that I had been participating in rhyme a long time ago. Oh. That's why I somehow knew how to fight Noiz in that drive-by. But why did I forget that? Not that I vaguely knew how to fight back then, but the fact that I was participating in rhyme? Was there a point in time when I just forgot about it all? So you're awake. Granny! When I look to Granny, she softly grunts and places a plate on the table. I'll help. Oh, I'm almost done. You should hurry and sit down, too. Okay, I got it. I obediently take an empty seat. Granny, are you sure you're okay now? Worry about yourself first. You're the one who fell flat on his face. I listen and don't say another word. I saved Granny, but in the end I just made her even more worried. Feeling awkward, I take my plate. At first I just poked it with my chopsticks, feeling depressed. Once I took a bite, that all flew away. It's delicious. Suddenly my appetite grows larger. Everyone else couldn't stop eating once they tasted her food either, and in a flash all their plates were in the air, ready for more. Clear once again must have eaten at the speed of sound, and Mink didn't come to the table until the last minute. The medicine I take calms me down, and I open my mouth to ask Granny something. Granny, can I ask you something? What? Was Mizuki really the person that took you? Her gaze falls to the teacup in her hands. Yes. Oh. He called me from the back. He said that he wanted something with you and that he wanted me to come too. I thought it was odd at first, but then he suddenly gagged me and dragged me into the car. So it was him. But why you? Granny stays silent with a troubled look on her face, but slowly opens her mouth to say something. Alba, and the rest of you too. First, I haven't given my thanks yet. Because of you all, I'm safe now. Thank you. Granny, I'm going to tell you something very serious right now. The truth is that I should have said this earlier, but all I can do is say it now. It's a better idea to just tell you now than never. So make sure you listen up. Everyone looks at Granny, completely silent. Now, Mizuki was the one who kidnapped me, but he was being manipulated. By morphine, right? Yes, but morphine is a little different from what you think it is. This is just my guess, but they were probably under the influence of Toei Inc. Knew it. Toei? The old fuds that bought this island and made platinum jail, huh? But what does morphine have to do with Toei? Granny watched us talk and once again lowered her eyes to her teacup. I used to be one of Toei's researchers at his lab once. It was 20 years ago. Granny, you were a researcher? For Toei? Yes. I was one of the originals. I always knew that Toei and the establishment were growing closer and closer. Toei has always been doing neural research. To put it simply, I worked with the brain's plasticity. We tested how some drugs could affect the brains that had lost their functionality. I was hoping to find the solution, to be able to save people who had damaged brains. I always believed that it was an amazing thing to study, but it didn't turn out to be that way. Toei's real objective was to find a way to manipulate people in any and every way possible. That's what the research was for. I believe that they often designed secretive programs, and the issues grew over time. When I looked into it, you could see it in their documents. In there, I read that they had perfectly substituted a person's consciousness successfully. When I saw that, I felt like I was dead inside. I did it all to save people, and in the end it backfired. After that, I stopped all my research and quit. I decided that I'd return to this island, my hometown, and live the rest of my life in peace, without Toei in it. But, a little while ago, I got a message from Toei. He wrote that there was an emergency at the research center, and requested that I return. But I kept refusing. I never want to associate myself with him ever again. He must have gotten furious at me. Then they took serious action. That's what morphine is. But then why was dry juice caught up in it? Recently, haven't young people all around on this island been disappearing? They drug them up, cause them to lose their senses, and make them their patients. I think those are Toei's victims. They coax them into morphine and release them into the city, just so they can be monitored for progress. Otherwise, they wouldn't have released failed subjects. Failed subjects? The ones who can't handle it and break down. Their minds are destroyed and they become invalids. Then what happens to the successful ones? They're retrieved and are subjected to even more experiments. Like when I spoke of the people with substituted consciousnesses. They've lost their freedom by then. Didn't you see it when you looked at Mizuki? He stepped all over me because I was caught unprepared. What's Toei trying to do with the research? What's going to happen to the island now? Well, most likely to rid all the people on this island of their minds. That way Toei will be able to rule unopposed over his kingdom. If the method to break a person's mind is found quickly enough, he'll also be able to buy other countries. Toei has his hands deep in this old residential district. It's been peaceful for several years now, but his real plan may be only beginning now. Then everyone in this district will become like those test subjects? Haga-san, the stupid brats, Yoshi-san, everyone. We have to stop him. I won't let him. I'll never let that happen. As I mutter those words, Granny looks at me with a pained face. There's still something I have to say, Alba. It's about you. Me? You lost consciousness when you came to save me, didn't you? Oh, yeah. I had a really realistic dream, too. I talked with Mizuki in it. Well, that wasn't a dream. What you were seeing was inside Mizuki's head. Huh? In his head? Granny makes sure of something and looks into my eyes. Don't tell me that it's nothing. I don't know if you'll believe me so easily, but you're able to mix your consciousness in with other people's minds. What? What did she say? My own consciousness inside someone else's head? I don't understand what Granny's saying. We call that ability scrap. Scrap? In your case, you can induce scrap with your voice. I get over-emotional when making speeches sometimes, but I listen to why people say some things. Don't you have a lot of those experiences? I guess you could say that. Your voice has the power to pull people in. If you decide to put it to use, you'll be able to gain access to others' minds. If you're doing it to someone you know well, and have a deep wish or desire, you'll most likely be able to plant that into their consciousness with your own. Oh, and she's saying this in front of all the other guys. So they all know now. Okay. But, if you use physical contact through the flesh as a means of contact, the other person will be completely defenseless. When you do that, as soon as you speak, there's a possibility that their mind will break. Well, that's just a theory anyway. I was already finding it difficult to understand Granny, but now, if I speak to someone's consciousness, I can control them? Being able to face them in their own minds, possibly breaking them? I don't get it at all. Feels like she's speaking in some language I don't understand. So that's what this was. Mink, who is in the other room, walks in at some point, arms folded and leaning on a wall. Scramp is a strong power in your voice. Then, that weird place in my dream was actually Mizuki's mind? I can't say what you saw exactly, but it probably was. I talked to Mizuki back there. He was like he usually is, and he told me about how he was in so much pain, and how he worried about rib and dry juice. So that's what he was so hung up about. The one you are speaking to was Mizuki's consciousness. It was the real Mizuki, with no lies, only complete truths. How did you answer? For some reason, I suddenly remembered my past. I don't understand why. I forgot completely about being in rhyme. Kojaku and Noiz look at me, so it was like that, because I've always refused to participate in rhyme. But when I was talking to the real Mizuki, it felt weird like rhyme did. I can't really describe it. What was it? Mizuki, he was telling me something, that morphine wasn't what he thought it was. But before he said that, he looked like he was in so much pain. Deep wrinkles form on Granny's brow. She snorts and begins to think. There was still the matter at hand to talk about, but her silence stays heavy. Here, everyone is listening to Granny's words. This is my opinion, and I'm not trying to condemn you at all, but if you had chosen the right words at that time, Mizuki's consciousness might have returned. Huh? You mean... Well, it's a horrible way of saying it, but you could have taken the half-dead Mizuki and drawn out his true feelings, but you left him there. If you had, for example, peeled off his outer shell and exposed his flesh, in a way, it's a very delicate thing. So, Mizuki's consciousness will never return, isn't that right? Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Mizuki was strung along in a trap by Toei, like when he was feeling the pain of his head splitting apart when you tried to speak to him. When he was dragged out and then left alone, Toei's trap set off, and that's why his mind has been destroyed. If he ever does come back, it'll be from his own willpower. No way! Mizuki's mind was destroyed, and it was my fault. My vision goes pitch black. My fault. No. Mizuki. Alba, your power is capable of destroying people. That's why you need to be aware of it. I've always been thinking about when I should tell you. I've always been here for you. I've been able to protect you in this cage, but now that's no good anymore. If you use it to protect me, It'll just go wild and all you'll be met with is misery in the end. That's why Toei found you. You were one of the first there when Toei began his research. They wanted that power, and they were willing to put their hands on your throat for it. This time, they're forcing their way in. But I don't know what Toei is up to right now. That's why you have to go on your own now, Alba. Even if you say that, I can't just accept it like that. What Granny just said was as much as I could take, but I understand that letting Toei do whatever he wants is dangerous. If I ignore him, this island will become his plaything. A special event is opening in Platinum Jail soon. It's not clear what it'll be about until the day it opens, but they're offering it to the old resident district too. Why is the old resident district being invited? Isn't it usually isolated from Platinum Jail? They are opening it to the public and testing things out by inviting the district. Exactly. The research is still unknown to the public, but with this event, they'll be able to observe the results of their experiments. How are they going to observe them? Songs, speeches, lights, and videos. They want to figure out how the people can be broken, and if they can acquire anything new. Saying that, there's nothing we can do before the event, is there? We'd better get to Platinum Jail as soon as possible then. Maybe even early as tomorrow. How are we gonna do this? There's a way to get in before the gates open. There is? Yeah, but I can't move. You'll have to depend on someone else to help. Go to Hagasan. To Hagasan? People that have lived here for a long time pretty much all know. It's not too difficult. You can ask for even more details. After saying that, Granny gives out a pained breath. Well, I've talked a lot, haven't I? Even though you all kept interrupting me. It wasn't much, but I told you of the truth I saw when I was a researcher. I'm sorry for getting you all caught up in this. Granny faces us and lowers her head. Granny. Hey, son, don't do this. Grandmother. After lowering her head for a few more seconds, she looks at everyone. Now, you all must be tired. You all could do more if you'd like, but it's better to let yourselves rest now. Once Granny spoke, no one else said a word. Everyone left the living room with a meek look on their face. It looks like Kojaku went upstairs to the second floor, and Noiz went into the hallway. Once everyone leaves, Granny stands up and goes inside the living room. She sits down and takes a long, deep breath. I walk up to join her. Granny? What? Can we talk a little more? She doesn't answer me, but I go and sit next to her. There are so many things I want to talk about, but I don't know what I should say first. My mind's in a frenzy, and I can't seem to hold on to thoughts. I stare at my hands on my knees and open my mouth while thinking. You know, I always make you worry about me, and I don't know a lot about stuff. I'm sorry while you were talking earlier. You're sounding stupid. Alba, there's never been a day that's passed by when I'm not thankful for your safety. You're my responsibility, because I'm your crusty old grandmother. Granny. Granny sits silently and stares at me for a few moments. You said that you remembered participating in rhyme, right? Yeah. A long time ago, you had to go to the hospital because of an incident in rhyme. Huh? An incident in rhyme? Yeah. Only now can I say it to you. When I rushed up to you back then, you didn't remember anything. Both the doctors and police told me you were caught up in a bad fight. That you were beat up really bad, and that you were suffering from temporary memory loss. And then the day when I visited, something happened. Alba? Are you surprised? Oh. Alba. At that time, there was a nurse collapsed on the floor next to you, and for 2 days after that, you continued to sleep. The nurse who had fainted said she remembered nothing. I went into your room to inspect some things, and it seemed that when you'd woken up, you had lost your memory. You've been having those headaches ever since. I remember that. After that, my memories came back. They were still fuzzy, though. That nurse was lightly affected by scrap. You entered her consciousness and destroyed part of her memory. The headaches, scrap, and the personality change. I knew that danger was sure to reappear again, so I prescribed you medicine. As you began to become more stable, I guess it was as if I had suppressed the power there, and as a result, didn't your headaches also fade away? Yeah. The medicine losing its effect might mean that you're having a reaction to the drugs forcing the power down. Scrap's main principle is destruction, to kill, to bring ruin. But the use of such a thing can change on how and for what reason you use it for. And that's why I want you to face it by yourself now. And never stop, no matter what happens. Just believe in your own choices along the way and keep pushing forward. Speaking with fervor, Granny takes both my hands and grips them tightly. Her hands are warm and soft. This is the warmth of my gentle Granny. It's the warmth of someone important to me. Someone who's always watched over me. Granny. I'll definitely come back. Yeah. She nods her head and gives me a tiny smile. Once she got up from the sofa, she took something out from one of the shelves. Take this with you. The new prescription for your headaches. Thanks. Make sure you hold on to it. Okay. I tightly grip the medicine she gives to me. I go back to my room, flop on my bed, and stare at the ceiling. The only thing that runs through my mind is what Granny said. I don't feel like sleeping at all. How Mizuki and his group was manipulated by morphine. How Granny was actually a researcher for Toei once. Toei's real intentions. How I remembered that I participated in Rhyme before, about my power, scrap, and how I might have broken Mizuki beyond repair. No matter how many times I roll around in my sheets, or let out deep sighs, the heavy feeling never goes away. I really did that to Mizuki. If only I had listened to what Mizuki had to say back there, I might have been able to save him. That's what Granny said, but I wasn't able to do that. Even if I didn't know, I still can't forgive myself. My one action changed Mizuki forever. I can't believe it. I look up to the ceiling and pound my face into my pillow. An uneasy feeling in my arm suddenly surfaces and won't seem to fade away at all. Damn it! I don't know what to think about this alone anymore. Well, guess we'll think of Noiz then. I got out of bed and left my room. When I go down the stairs, I see a light in the living room. Is it Granny? I don't think so. Huh. I open the door of the room and someone bumps into me. You? The person that bumped into me was Noiz. It looked like he was about to leave the room just as I came in. Why are you here? Is that a problem? You're the one who bumped into me, after all. His rudeness pisses me off. My bad, then. I turn around and he suddenly pulls me by the arm. What? Did you use your power on me as well? You remembered being in Rhyme again, didn't you? Fight me again. That... You can even do it here. I don't care. Don't joke around like that. This is my house. That doesn't matter, is Rhyme. Cut it out already. I shake off Noiz's hand and glare at him. This guy thinks about nothing except Rhyme. He just doesn't care about anything else. That pisses me off. Can't you use that scrap of yours however you want now? Of course I can't. You can peep into people's hearts and crush them to bits now. You haven't used it in Rhyme at all? I don't know. I don't remember anything about being in it. Liar. Then what was that when you fought me? I'm telling you, I don't remember. Just after I finish yelling, I close my mouth, obviously flustered. Noiz shuts up too, and looks into my eyes. As if he's trying to make sure I was telling the truth, he stares at me without blinking once. I feel an overpowering suspicion. I avert my eyes and open my mouth again slowly. Anyway, I really don't remember. Even if I used it when we were fighting, I don't know how to use it now. I'm not lying. If you're fine with that, let's fight then. But isn't that what you want to see? If there ever comes a time when I want to fight you, I'll definitely be your opponent, I promise. Are you serious? Yeah, of course I am. Fine. I'll believe you this time. But that time will come. And when it does, don't you dare run away. I know. To make sure I get the message, Noiz stares into my eyes again. He slips past me to go out into the hallway. Where are you going? On a walk. He gives a simple reply and leaves through the entryway. I follow his figure with my eyes and sigh. The truth is, even if I could control that power at will, I would never want to. This dreadful power ruined Mizuki. All I can think about is how I can never ask for his forgiveness now. I came down here in a good mood, but it didn't stick. I let out yet another sigh and returned to my room, depressed. I get into my bed, not feeling like sleeping, but I still close my eyes.